All right, we're back here again, and we're 2 weeks away from the Oscars, and we are just done now with the BAFTA awards. They ended a little while ago. Anyway, so like I said, first time watching BAFTA this year. I didn't know when they broadcast them on BBC America. It's after the fact. It's kind of like a replay ceremony, or maybe they're just doing that for COVID. But we'll find out. Anyways, but yeah, so we know the winners already. I thought it was. I got everything turned on right at the time it was supposed to be there, and I'm like, oh, it's over. And it's like, oh, it wasn't the actual show that was on at this time. That's when the winners were being announced or whatever. And even then, I had, for some reason, the time was wrong, so I thought it was certain time in the afternoon here, but it was actually kind of mid-afternoon when they started them here. Okay, so I guess the basic breakdown is that Nomadland has 4 awards here, and that includes film, director, actress, and also for cinematography. And this could be, I can see that being the scenario, maybe not exactly in those categories, but 4 wins for Nomadland at the Oscars probably sounds about right. I think editing and actress are like the 2 shaky ones, and adapted screenplay could also be a little shaky, so I can see it going away with 3. But still, a really good result for Nomadland here. Out of 7 awards, it gets 4. Otherwise, for the multiple winners, The Father walked away with Best Actor. I'm glad I picked that one. I mean, yeah. In all honesty, I think it kind of throws a little bit of a wrench in there into everything, but. We'll see. That one will be interesting going forward here to see if Chadwick can recover and get the posthumous win at the Oscars here in a couple weeks. It also won for adapted screenplay, which it's that one makes me really start to consider that one now for the Oscars as well. Anyways, so that one won 2, and we didn't really have a whole lot of other ones that had multiple wins. Promising Young Woman was one that got original screenplay, and it also picked up one for British film, so that was, it was kind of my second place pick on that one. And then, let's see here, what else? Soul picked up the 2 it was expected to, animated film and score. I think... Oh, Ma Rainey's picked up a couple, that's right, down the text. Costume design and makeup it picked up. And then, actually, Sound of Metal got editing and sound, so that one also picked up, too. All right, I think that was everything. Let's see, if I had that marked right, it was editing went to Sound of Metal, but now I can't find it. Yeah, sound and editing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, not to be confused with sound editing, a former category at the Oscars. Anyways, but yeah, I guess we'll go into it here a little bit here, kind of work our way down. So, best film going to Nomadland. I don't think that's a huge surprise. I think even before the nominations came out, we were all thinking it was going to be the front runner here. And even if it does end up pulling a Roma at the Oscars, where they go with something like, at this point, I think the 2 that are probably in line, as they have been probably all season to take it down, are Minari and Trial of Chicago 7. And neither one of them did spectacular here today. The only one Minari pulled in was supporting actress, which looks at this point like it's the only one it's going to win at the Oscars as well. And even then, there is some chance for an upset there by Maria Bakalova. So I don't think that one's a done deal. But I think it's more advantage, definitely. You know, if it was a deuce last time and now it's advantage to Yuya Jung for Minari for supporting actress. So this could be potentially the first time since 12 Years a Slave that BAFTA gets Best Film and Best Picture lining up. And yeah, at this rate, I mean, I don't want to... I mean, I want to get it right, obviously, but I just don't know. I mean, the Roma thing, it's like PGA slipped it up, stuff like that, and that's really about the only place that it could have been slipped up that year, because it had DGA... it had nothing from SAG, though. Nomadland at least got the Best Actress nomination at SAG. 1917 last year couldn't even get into the stunt ensemble category, even though it was one of the bigger kind of action films out at the end of the year. So at least if you have some representation from SAG, you can win. Green Book was another one that got the 2 nominations in lead and supporting, at least, and then that one went on to win Best Picture. So really, I can't think of really anything other than WGA where it wasn't eligible, and SAG Ensemble where it wasn't eligible, or wasn't nominated, rather. That's been about the only places where Nomadland has not come through. And so, yeah, I mean, it might be, we might be falling into that Roma trap again, but I don't know. I just, again, like we were talking about last time in the last end of the last video there, I don't see the alternative, and BAFTA certainly did not turn to an alternative here today, like Mauritanian or Father or Trial of Chicago 7, even for like best film. Yeah, so it's like there wasn't much, to go off of there. Let's see here. Director Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. Yeah, she won DGA last night as well, so lock that one up. That's a that's a solid chance to win there. Okay, so now for Best Actor. That's going to be the thing. Now, part of the reason I went with Anthony Hopkins here, and I'm glad I got it right, was he is British after all. He's, from Wales and everything. Big legend, and The Father was a film that's up for Best Film. Ma Rainey's did okay here, but could even get like Viola Davis into that actress category, which was all fucked up anyways, because you didn't have Carrie Mulligan here either, or even, well, obviously Audrey Day, as we said many times, has not made the short list, but who's the other one there? I'm forgetting. Vanessa Kirby, Francis, yeah. Okay, yeah, those ones. I was thinking who else was nominated at the Oscars, but we got them all. So yeah, Ma Rainey's, even with the two texts, it's like, yeah, I didn't really feel this one had a lot of strength at BAFTA. And I can't remember, I can't remember the last time BAFTA went with a posthumous winner in any of the acting categories anyways. I don't know, maybe they never have. I don't know, I haven't looked at that stat. But yeah, I can't think. I don't know. Maybe even Heath Ledger didn't win. I'm sure he did, but I just I'm gonna look that up really quick because I'm like trying to think through my mind here. I'm like, I thought he had one, but I wasn't 100%. Okay, awards. Where is BAFTA? Yeah, Ledger was actually the only win for The Dark Knight, even though it was from Christopher Nolan at BAFTA that year. Yeah, so, yeah, I guess it was just more, they hadn't seen the film, or they weren't really as big a fan of the film, and he kind of more or less got in getting the nomination. Might have been the win for him, I don't know, but again, I was worried about that sweep factor, the way we did with Olivia Colman that year for The Favorite, where she won for Best Actress here, and we were all thinking, oh, it's going to be Glenn Close because of the sweep factor. But, there were a lot of people that still, definitely a good handful of people at least, if not everybody, not to exaggerate the two, but that did pick Olivia here to win that year. I did not. So, anyways. So now the big question is, like I've mentioned a few times here, The Father has really gained steam, especially after the nominations were out. And it felt like if you hadn't seen it by that point, like me, I caught up with it after, because it wasn't out yet where I could see it. Man, I think a lot of people, number one, they love the movie, myself included. They love the performance. It is a very, it's a tender performance at times, and it's a very heartfelt, movie at times, and definitely, a really, really good film. As long as you get into the kind of style that it's going for and stuff, and once you're in there, I think it's a really good one. So now, are we looking at the same situation where Glenn Close lost to Olivia Colman, the BAFTA winner, and it's possible, because especially if Nomadland ends up winning screenplay, that might be the kicker, because The Father, I think, still stands a decent shot at least at winning adapted screenplay. I have Nomadland out front as the winner right now, but that's one I'm going to toss and turn in my sleep over in the next couple weeks leading up to the ceremony, because I just don't know. I mean, The Father, there's not a ton of like the, and this actually, it's kind of true for both films. There's not a lot of that sparkling screenplay there. There's not a lot of ton of memorable lines in either one. It's not one where every other line is like an Aaron Sorkin, great, memorable line and stuff. And I think in some ways, Nomadland, the closest it gets to it, as I mentioned a few times, is that Bob Wells, I think I've got the name right, Bob Wells, the monologue he gives toward the end, or it's kind of a shorter monologue toward the end, and it's in all the trailers, where he talks about, seeing you on the road, and he talks about a personal tragedy in his life and stuff. It's like, other than that moment, and then maybe a couple other lines kind of sprinkled in here and there, it's not really the biggest writing achievement. The Father, on the other hand, it does have some, memorable lines and stuff, and obviously, the way they stage it and everything. the screenplay has to be really secure for that to work. I mean, obviously, a lot of it comes down to the direction, the acting, the editing, even to an extent what was also nominated was a production design. Really, all that getting nailed is what helps sell that effect. And I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like I'm trying to think back to like 2018 where BlacKkKlansman won, and that had kind of a rocky road going up to the Oscars. The only place it had really won, I believe, was BAFTA before that, because it lost to WGA to Can You Ever Forgive Me. It didn't win at wasn't even nominated at the Globes, and it lost to If Beale Street Could Talk at Critics' Choice. So I don't know. Then again, that's actually the same track that The Father has been on, where at least that one was nominated at the Globes, but then it's lost everywhere since. So and more or less to different winners. Wasn't eligible at WGA, but this is the first screenplay win of the season for The Father. I don't know. It's tempting, but it's like, at least with BlacKkKlansman, more or less, unless you thought the direction was the outstanding quality, most people thought the screenplay was what really helped make that film work. I mean, and again, alongside the acting and musical score and editing and everything, it's like, obviously it all worked together, and it was my favorite film of that year that was nominated for Best Picture. But I don't know, it's kind of strange, because it's like I could at least, in retrospect, kind of pick out the screenplay as like a strong element that made the film work. The Father, it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of hard to say it's just the screenplay that stands out, because it's like the acting really stands out. The direction stands out. It's like there's so many factors like we've named here, editing and so on and so forth, that stand out and make the film work. So I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a total toss-up going forward. And then The Father for Best Actor, too, for Anthony Hopkins. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough, I think, given how many nominations it has and stuff, and in the spots they're in, really the only other thing it could have really gotten to be any stronger would be director, but that didn't happen. And I'm hitting myself because I know Thomas Vinterberg, who was a nominee here today at BAFTA, I had him for a moment and I dropped him, and I could have had 5 for 5 and totally called that huge surprise there, but no. Well, I mean, not huge surprise. If he'd been omitted by BAFTA and then he got in, that would have been, I don't know how you would have been able to call that, but that's like calling Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild that year. Anyways, but still, I don't know. We'll have to see if the voters now after this win, if they're if they haven't seen the film yet, if they're going to catch on, and if they see it and if they really like it, okay. And Ma Rainey's, in the meanwhile, has kind of been out for a while. Was out, on in December on Netflix, and ended up not being a Best Picture nominee. Missed out on screenplay, and I think in maybe a couple ways. And I hate to make this argument, because my preference is to see Chadwick win, because I thought he gave the better performance. I think maybe some voters might be like, oh, Chadwick's already won this and won this. It's like, let's go with Anthony Hopkins, who's 83 years young now, and we kind of mentioned this last year with a couple nominees, or potential nominees like Alan Alda. It's like, what if this is the last shot for Anthony Hopkins? I mean, he's such a great actor. I mean, you'd hate to see him go to his grave with just one Oscar, but obviously Chadwick is sad to say already, and I hate to make it sound like I made this to be funny, but it's not. He's already in his grave, and we know for sure he does not have another shot. So I don't know. I think right now I'm thinking stick with Chadwick. I'm thinking to stick with Chadwick, and Ma Rainey's, especially after the SAG win, also for Viola Davis. I think the acting branch is going to come through for Chadwick. I think they're going to save him and make sure he help him win, cross the finish line and stuff. So that's going to be. I think that's going to be my prediction for now. But again, I'll kind of gauge it here in the next couple weeks, and I'll kind of think about it. Either way, both of them winning is great. But then Riz Ahmed would be great. Stephen Yeun, I would was good in his role. I don't know if I would claim him as better than the other three, but he's glad to see him nominated. And who's missing here at the Oscars? Of course, Gary Oldman. Yeah, and Gary Oldman's always fantastic. So all right, okay, for Best Actress. So my theory, why I went back to Vanessa Kirby for Best Actress was I thought there was actually a chance she would win here today at BAFTA. And then I'm like, okay, in a mixed-up year where everything is kind of, going to a different person, and they have now for the first time in a long time in this category, or maybe even ever since they've had all 4 awards that we look to, Globes, Critics' Choice, SAG, and BAFTA, they've gone with different people every time. And that makes it very complicated now to see who's going to win. So, so my theory on going back to Vanessa Kirby, though, was in case she won here today, then, with voters kind of like, oh, okay, I don't really know who to go with. Okay, who was the most recent one? Oh, we'll go with them. Because that happened with, like, Tilda Swinton for Michael Clayton and stuff like that. That happened arguably with, even though it wasn't the exact same circumstance, with a few years ago, Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. He, was nominated consistently, won BAFTA, and then showed up at the Oscars in a big upset there. So, now with Frances winning here instead, though, obviously this could be explained away. Like we said, Frances already has 2 Oscar wins. She only had 1 prior to this at BAFTA for 3 Billboards. Now she's picked up a second one, and technically a third because she was a producer on Nomadland as well. So, do they stick with Frances now that she's won BAFTA? I don't know. I'm thinking, actually, there could be another factor here that I didn't really pick up on until it happened this weekend, and that was Carrie Mulligan being the Saturday Night Live host. I think a lot of people that were, looking for her to win at SAG and stuff, they kind of felt like a lot of people, including myself, were kind of jumping ship at that point. But, she's definitely, even after the BAFTA nomination not coming through for her, total snub, obviously, in this category, having not seen any of the other players here other than Vanessa and Frances. I think that helps keep her in the public eye and stuff. And if I didn't happen to see the show last night, but I'll probably look for the clips later here. We'll see if that helps at all. I mean, obviously Daniel Kaluuya hosted SNL and he hasn't slipped up yet, but again, he's kind of more on a solid track than in that category than anybody in Best Actress right now. So part of me is tempted to go with Frances, and then she'll win a total of 4 Oscars by the end of the night if Nomadland comes through for Best Picture. So that'll be interesting. I don't know, and I'm kind of opening up now the possibility. Okay, so if Best Picture is not Nomadland and it picks up director and actress and cinematography, for example, those 3. Then that's a way to award both Frances and Chloe for their work on the film, and not awarding them twice for giving them Best Picture on top of it. So, I don't know. I mean, is it one of those spread the wealth type of years? I don't know. I mean, judging from BAFTA here, Chloe's won twice, Frances has won twice in the same day. Emerald Fennell, I forget, does she actually accept on behalf for the Best British Film? Because if she does, I think it is the producers. Okay. So technically she has 2 wins here today. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting. But I'm tempted to go back to Carrie Mulligan now, actually, after this. Because it is, after all, a Best Picture nominee, and other than Frances, all the other ones are not in Best Picture nominees, including Andra Day and Vanessa Kirby, who are the only nominees for their film. So, I'm thinking maybe bounce back to Carrie Mulligan and stick with her to the end here. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think the best scenario for Carrie Mulligan today would have been if Bucky Becrae had won, who was my prediction, actually. And Rox actually did not go home empty-handed. They gave it best casting, so they did give it something after all. But yeah, I think in the meantime here, I'll really just kind of look out for to see if anybody like Gold Derby, I know always publishes them, but they kind of anonymously take an Oscar voter and write down what they voted for or whatever, and then they'll send it out there, and they'll do I think they did 5 or 6 last year. We'll see if they can do those again. That might be really interesting to see, even if it is, and obviously we don't know what branch they're voting in. We don't know, any of that stuff. But it'll be interesting to see, okay, where is everybody going? If they're all going with Vanessa Kirby or something, okay, then that might help me steer in that way. But that's the only scenario I think where I would ever pick her again to win this. If they're kind of split between Frances and Viola Davis and even Carrie Mulligan, that's going to be really interesting to watch. But, we're I think we're still kind of in panic mode here, but I don't know, because it's like Viola, I think, definitely picked up some work there in the back nine, more or less, to make a golf reference, in the for the SAG win and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, the thing is, remember that Ma Rainey's it actually had almost as many nominations at SAG as it does at the Oscars. So it's at 3 and 5. So it might have just been the SAGs just loved that movie and wanted to give it both. So yeah, I don't know. And and Viola, of course, is a very popular actress. Early on in the season, a few people pointed out this would actually be the first black actress to win both lead and supporting. Which, in a year of, social unrest and everything, I know that would definitely be a pin that the Oscars would really like to put on their shoulder and pat until they're, until their hand is red or whatever, if you want to go into that part of it. But on top of it, it's a good enough performance I can see winning. It's personally not my favorite in the category. I would say Frances is better. Vanessa's maybe not way better, but I prefer Vanessa definitely. And then Carrie I would also put above her. But yeah. So yeah, I still don't know, but I'm maybe leaning on going back to Carrie Mulligan now. All right, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. Yep, and that should be an easy one to repeat at the Oscars. Supporting Actress we mentioned is Yuya Jung for Minari. And I think after the SAG win too, I think, again, this is looking to be the more obvious place now to award Minari, and I think with 6 nominations, including Director and Screenplay, and another acting nomination, I think this will be the place they'll give it an award to. So, again, I'd be a little wary of Maria Bakalova, since Borat did get that screenplay nomination. That does suggest it's still a pretty strong contender there. And she did win at Critics' Choice as well, in this same category against Yuya Jung, whereas, and that's really, I think, that's about the only place where she's beaten her. Otherwise, Yuya Jung has won when she's nominated against Maria, but yeah. Okay, then, the Screenplay Prizes, Promising Young Woman for Original, seems like that one should be a lock now. Again, unless all of a sudden Chicago 7 comes back to win for Best Picture, and Aaron Sorkin wins there, but again, I'm not really thinking that is a high possibility right now. And then, we mentioned Adapted Screenplay. That's going to be a fight between Nomadland and The Father, and, oh boy, that's tough, because again, the whole theory of Nomadland, winning Best Picture and stuff, again, unless you're the artist or you're Shape of Water, you're taking screenplay with you lately, especially. So that's tough. That is tough. So yeah, that's one I'm not sure on right now, but I'll think about. Okay, animated film. Yeah, we know that one's Soul. Documentary I didn't mention. That's My Octopus Teacher. So I think that one, after the win at PGA as well. Looks like that one should be pretty solid. Did that win at DGA last night too? I'm gonna look that up and see if I can find it. It did not. So who won last night for that one? I don't think I saw the winner on that one. Let me see here. I don't know if I can find it. Hang on a minute. Achievement in documentary. Here we go. They gave Truffle Hunters. I did see that. Yeah. Remind me again. Were they nominated at the Oscars? I thought they were. Doesn't. Okay. I can't remember. Okay, I'm not seeing it there on their page, so maybe it wasn't. Okay, now I gotta scroll through and find it here. Documentary feature. Oh, it was not. That's right. Yeah, they went with, I think, who was the one I didn't have in? Mole Agent got in, yeah. Okay, yeah, so it was, yeah. So even with that, I still think after the PGA win, that was kind of more like, okay, now it's like Free Solo. I think we talked about that last time. So yeah, I got that one. Film not in English language going to another round. Okay, that's a good sign. It's going to be the winner at the Oscars too. But that's been about the only place I think where Minari, if it's nominated in that category, has not won. So I don't know. It's kind of weird because Minari I thought was not going to be as big a player here at BAFTA at the end of the day. But and then ended up getting like director and stuff. And then the only win it pulls off is for supporting actress. We mentioned casting going to Rocks. Yeah, this is, I don't know, it's a weird category. It's only the second time they've done it, so it ended up being the only place to award Rocks, I guess, if they weren't going to go Best Actress or Director or something like that. Okay, cinematography to Nomadland. I think that'll repeat. Again, I would just watch out for whoever wins the Cinematographers Guild. If that also goes to the cinematographer of Nomadland, who's Joshua James Richards, who I believe is a first-time nominee this year. If he also wins at the Cinematographers Guild later this week, I think that'll be pretty solid there. Costume design, we've mentioned, went to Ma Rainey's, so I think that's very likely to repeat. But again, possibility of a Mank upset there, possibly. So, editing going to Sound of Metal here. It tied with Chicago 7 at Critics' Choice, and now its solo win here is a good sign. We'll see if it can repeat at the ACETI Awards again later this week. Makeup and hairstyling also to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and I think that's a good sign. It'll keep winning there. I think maybe, and we mentioned this before with the makeup lining up with Glenn Close if she happened to win, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe if Ma Rainey wins here in makeup, it could take Viola Davis along for the ride. After all, she was the one who had the makeup. She was more makeup heavy in the film, definitely than Chadwick was. So maybe we should keep that in mind, too, for Best Actress. So, yeah, just to make that one more screwy than normal. Original music or score category here went to Soul. Again, no surprise. That'll probably repeat. Production design, Mank. It's definitely the most secure possibility, the most secure category where I think Mank can pull off a win here. Otherwise, if it can't even do that one, if it does happen to go to something like Ma Rainey's or another one there. Again, I don't think there's a clear consensus on who the backup is there. It'd have to be a pretty big surprise. It'd have to be something like The Father or News of the World or something. Then it would go over 10. But sound, I think we mentioned, was Sound of Metal, so that one I believe will repeat. Special effects is going to Tenet here. Again, I think very likely to repeat, so I would say, yep, that one should be good. Just a couple categories here left. Outstanding British film was Promising Young Woman. I knew it was between this and The Father, more than likely than not. Mortanian was also one I had an eye on there too, but and Rocks, but none of those could pull through. So again, they go with the more Hollywood production here. So I'll definitely keep that in mind going forward. And then Bucky McRae was actually our Rising Star winner, so I had that one wrong. I had Kingsley Ben-Adir down. So. So overall, I think I did all right on predicting here. I mean, other than actress, I got the top 8 categories here, so that's pretty good. Got the Anthony Hopkins more or less, upset. So that was, a good call there. I don't know. I think some people had costume design actually going to Emma, but that went to Ma Rainey, so I'm glad I got that one right. I don't know. I don't think there were really too many upsets there that were being called or that were in question there. So so I think that's that. So like I said, we got 2 weeks before the Oscars and a few categories that are still very much up in the air. Best Actress, again, I would say all maybe now Vanessa Kirby might knock down a peg or two, but otherwise the other 4, Frances, Viola, Carrie and Andra have all won at the different awards there leading up to the Oscars. So, wow. Okay. Again, kind of the theory I think prevailing with that is when it is kind of a split year, you just go with the BAFTA winner, which would be Frances. And it's like, okay, is she going to end up with, again, that argument we made there, is she really going to end up with 4 Oscars by the end of the night? I mean, possibly. It really depends on that, and Frances definitely, though, one thing she's got going for her, definitely, maybe even more so than like anybody else there, she's got a cool factor there. She's kind of got that, in many ways, kind of anti-establishment, kind of rebel kind of attitude there, and that's obviously toward the whole award season because she hasn't showed up to anything. It's obviously portrayed a little bit in the film by her being, kind of an off-the-radar nomad. And everything, so that might be something that really helps her here. Potentially get a few more votes than some of the others there. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that one really is a wow. That one's a little bit everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Whoever gets it right, good on you. But yeah, I think a lot of us are going to get that one wrong on not next Sunday, but the Sunday after next. Whew. Yeah, that one's going to be really, really confusing. Okay, otherwise, yeah, maybe a little bit of mystery there still in supporting actress, and potentially some in best actor. But yep, it seems like Daniel Kaluuya is our surest bet among the Oscar winners there. Or sorry, for the acting winners rather. And yeah, Chloe, I think, is a very solid bet also for director. I don't really see her slipping up at the last minute there. Okay, all right, I think I've gone on long enough here. So, yeah, like I said, definitely some of the categories here at the Oscars, we're going to see some potentials for upsets. We're going to see definitely some people go home with some, as far as predicting wise, a lot of people are going to probably be upset at missing a few categories here and there, or they're just going to have to throw up their hands and pick somebody in some of these categories. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun 2 weeks. I will probably get back to you guys here probably sometime later this week. I will go ahead and get back to you here. Just one heads up, by the way, if it's not too much to say here, but I'm at least it's scheduled for now. But Tuesday, I'm getting my shot, and hopefully I won't have to worry about the pandemic, COVID and everything there after that. So it's set up obviously, but it's could fall through. Something could happen there, but. So if I'm in that age group where I might have some side effects, so I might feel like crap for some of the rest of the week. So if I don't have anything up by like Thursday, Friday, that might be a reason why. Otherwise, I just don't have time. But yeah, I've got some other stuff going on this week as well. So yeah, so hopefully later this week we'll get another video out. We'll look at further Oscar predictions and stuff. Otherwise, definitely by early next week, if nothing is up by then we'll jump right in and then kind of look it over a little bit, and then by Thursday, Friday next week, or the week after, being right before the Oscars, there we'll land our final predictions. Yeah, and it's like I said many times here, it is the oddest season we've ever had, the longest Oscar season we've had ever, and potentially will ever have. It's a memorable one, and some of these categories might come down to the wire. So obviously where we started this race and where we're ending this race, again, almost, not entirely yet, but almost kind of two sides of the same coin, as far as, a lot of stuff going on as far as, who we think is going to win in some cases, and then as far as what's going on around us and everything. So, yeah. So, yep, that's it. I'm going to stop saying stuff. Bye-bye.